TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Back to Bobby. Memories of Steve Austin, the early Steve Austin.
Good. I worked with him when he first came in around territory.
Right.
One of the first things I remember was one of the things, the ropes broke like 2 or 3 different times on him. And he always watched his damn ring about 3 or 4 times. Well, the last time I remember working with him, he's in the ring, the referee's like doing this ring. I said, Steve, what time is it? It was good.
You guys had the infamous, I guess it was the 91 scaffold match at the Bash. It was you guys pianos and
oh, man, that sucked. It was just you didn't even fall off this. You went across, got a flag or something.
Yeah, it was something.
It was just a wooden. It was just a wood up there. Wasn't nothing like that. Put us on the first match, so we went open and carved the bang. Let's see what it is.
I guess, is there any guys that you guys have worked with that thought would be huge but never made it in the business?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd have to think about that for a while. I thought it would be huge, never made it. I'm sure there's probably a dozen of them, but
right.
I just can't think of them offhand. If you just sent me these questions earlier, I could have filled them out. Let me just consult my notes. Oh yeah.
Was there anyone that made it big that surprised you, like off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no. But one guy that just kind of languished for years and years was Big Scott Hall, and I mean he had all the tools. He was a good-looking guy, big guy, had a good body, and he worked. But he just it just was like in that little gray area. He wore like cowboy boots for a while and just tights and stuff. And he was called Big Scott Hall. It's just like generic Scott Hall. And then all of a sudden, here he is, a Razor Ramon. Boom. And just on top of the world, So it's timing. It's the right character. It's to be at the right place, the right time.
I didn't ask you before, but we failed to mention about Bubba. What was he like, Ray Traylor?
Great guy. Big Bubba.
Big Bubba.
Another guy who was like 330, but he was. I mean, he could kick his feet way up in the air. He was very light on his feet. I've seen him chew a phone book and too.
When Dennis first left, me and Bubba and Jimmy were at the airport, and Dusty's been calling Jimmy and said, "Better find Dennis." It was sort of like we may lose our job too. I don't know for sure how it was, but Bubba just getting started. And he kept worming me to death about getting a hot dog. Let's go get a hot dog. Bubba, we got to find Dennis first. They wanted a hot dog, man.
Barry Windham.
I remember when Barry first came to Florida. He was just I think fresh from high school, and tall, gangly guy, but turned out to be a great worker for a tall guy. Had that good look, the long blonde hair, but just a very statuesque, like 6'6" guy, but just moved great.
Tommy Rich.
Wildfire Rich. I watched him before I started to wrestle on that Georgia Championship Wrestling, and he was over. He was over big time. But as far as like hanging out or knowing him, I don't really know him all that well. Do you know Tommy that well?
I've been hung around him a lot. They kind of put us together in Memphis for just a little bit.
You guys also did the gimmick with the Wall Street gimmick, right?
Wall Street.
Or no,
I was Ricky Morton.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Rick Rude.
Great arm wrestler. Great arm wrestler. Not a real like a loud kind of guy. He was more of a kind of a quiet guy, I guess.
That's one person that you last want to go with. I worked with him in Louisiana when he first started. I didn't really think that he'd ever make it.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, that's not saying in a bad way, but I just didn't have the right gimmick on there.
Right. Also, Eddie Gilbert. You guys both know Eddie.
He was when he had like 2 different stages of his career. When I knew him, it was like the Memphis stage when his dad was still there, and he was kind of his dad's his shadow. But then later, doing all the hardcore stuff, he like really became like a cult hero all of a sudden. Yeah. But when I knew him, he was just like a small guy who was kind of shy and kind of quiet and stuff. But
right.
So.
Jerry Jarrett.
I like him a lot. I think he's highly intelligent. Whatever he does, it seems it turns to gold. I mean, he's doing like, I think he's a contractor now.
Yeah.
And I hear he's building shopping centers and neighborhoods and doing great. He's just a very, very successful guy.
How'd you see the company changing, especially from like 86 to 87, and then with the whole thing with Watts? And did you see the company going down? Like towards the end? I think they were moving the offices to Dallas, and then a lot of people were leaving.
Well, they went and bought Kansas City and bought Louisiana and bought Florida. They could have did just like Vince did, just went in and took it.
Right.
They were flying. We flew from like Charlotte to Fayetteville, North Carolina one time, or something like that on a plane with no reason to do that. Just wasting money.
He just overextended himself, financially, and it's a shame because things were going so good. I mean, we were on top of the world. We're flying in Falcon jets around and stuff, and everybody was making good money. But it got too big, too fast, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's too late now. So he had to sell out.
Right.
Did you think it was a mistake, like maybe on Crockett's and Dusty's part, that they didn't make a big feud even with like the UWF guys, or even like how they kind of took over Florida? Do you think they could have done like better business like that, and Dusty pushed his guys too much, or?
I don't think the guys were in other places were over good enough.
Right.
Maybe some guys in Louisiana, that were there, they could have done something, but unless Crockett's reason for wanting to move the office to Dallas was that, like on the pay-per-view, he said when you get a pay-per-view or whatever, how you get it, that when he says, we're from Charlotte, North Carolina, he said, well, that's a little too small of a city. It looks better coming from Dallas. It never made sense to me. I mean, you got Charlotte Hornets, Carolina Panthers there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Remember? I guess, what are your thoughts on Jim Ross? Either one can answer.
I worked with him a lot. We did voiceovers on several shows, the Wrestling Challenge and Spotlight and all those shows. He's a very good announcer. He's he's an office guy, which is I guess you got to be if you got to be in that spot. You got to be very, very cagey and stuff as far as what you say to somebody or stuff. And myself, I'm as far as that kind of deal where you gotta like play the politics of all that stuff. I was not happy at all doing that. I guess he is. But as far as a broadcaster, he's very good. I mean, even now with his Bell's palsy, I mean, he gets the job done. And,
right.
He's a student of this sport, or whoever it is, and he likes it, and he's made a very productive living doing it.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.